Hello everyone and welcome back to another coding video. So in this video I want to show you how to make a Minecraft fabric mod from start to finish and basically show you how to build it, how to actually code stuff inside the mod, and pretty much everything you have to know to make your own fabric mod. But before we get started with that, I just want to say thank you so much everyone for 1K subscribers. When we started the channel I didn't really think I was going to get to 1K even, but now you guys proved me wrong. So yeah, thank you so much for 1K subscribers. It was really a journey and I hope we can continue this. But yeah. And anyway, I talk a bit more about my channel and other stuff at the end of the video. But for now, let's just get to the topic of the video, which is making a new Minecraft mod. Alright, let's get started with the first step. So to start off, we want to set up our modding environment. So the way you generally want to do that is using an IDE such as IntelliJ, or Eclipse. So some people prefer Eclipse. I personally prefer IntelliJ. I just think it's a lot more user-friendly and looks nicer, and etc. But you can use Eclipse. Some of the steps may be similar, others may not be, so you might want to consult some other video or tutorial for that. But anyway, let's take a look at what we actually have to do inside IntelliJ. So first off, I think a couple things is plugins. So none of these are necessary, but my personal favorite is tab 9. It's basically a code completion plugin, so you can like start typing a method or something, and then it would auto-complete for you, or suggest an auto-completion, and then you could press tab, and then it would complete it for you. So in my opinion, very, very useful if you want to make like a lot of code, and it's just takes a long time. So yeah. Another one, statistic. This one's not as important slash useful, but it's just nice to be able to see like how many lines of code your project has, etc., etc. Alright, so now the easiest way to start up your environment is click get from VCS, and in the URL you want to put in the URL of the Fabric example mod's GitHub page, or you could just type it out. It's pretty easy. It's https://github.com/fabricmc/fabric-example-mod. So that's the URL of the Fabric example mod, which is basically our template to get our mod started. Now in the directory, by the way, don't worry about this is just my name. In here, you want to type out whatever you want the name of the mod to be. So I'm gonna always start it with Fabric pretty much. Fabric dash, let's say something mod, or dash mod, whatever. So, and that's basically just gonna be the location of where your mod is gonna be stored, like all these mod files, the source code and the builds, etc. So this should be somewhere on your computer, and I have this my mods folder in my desktop, by the way. By the way, I just want to mention before you actually do all of this and make that new project, you want to go to File and Project Structure, or you could just do Command or Control and then the semicolon. And in the SDK, you want to make sure it's Java 17 or higher if you want to make a newer version mod for Minecraft, because those newer versions, they need the latest Java versions as well, so you want to make sure you're using Java 17. Now, this is pretty much it. You just want to click clone, and yeah. Now it's going to ask you if you trust the project. You should trust the project, like, you shouldn't be cloning stuff you don't exactly trust. Don't worry, it's completely safe. Like, this is how everyone does Fabric mods. And not that that means that it's safe, it just means that if everyone does it, like, by now, someone would have noticed something that's unsafe, but nothing is really unsafe about these Fabric mods, so yeah. But now it's just the waiting game of waiting for it all to like prepare the workspace, and depending on your computer, it might take longer or shorter, but I'll just meet you when I have this all set up. Alright, so this is what it should look like when it's finished. So you should see a green check mark here, and basically nothing else is moving. So nothing's moving at all here. We completely finished the build. And yeah, so this is pretty much the whole thing set up. We just have to do a couple things in here. So first of all, so this is what it should look like. Go to resources and click on fabric.mod.json. And yeah, this is what it should look like. So we need to change a couple things here. So for mod ID, this is going to be the ID of your mod. So this is how Fabric Launcher tells apart what mods are in your version of Minecraft, like what should be launched. So you should create a unique mod ID that should have something to do with your mod. So I'm gonna make my mod ID something here because it's the something mod. And yeah, for version, you don't really have to change anything here, or you could put like version 1.0.0 or something here. So now for the name, you're gonna put whatever the name of your mod is. So I'm gonna put the something mod. For the description, I mean, this is kind of self-explanatory. You just put in the description of your mod. So I'm just gonna say it does something. And for the authors, I want to put my GitHub username. So this is amp-mc. We don't have a homepage at the moment, but if you do have a website just for your mod, this is where that would go. And for sources, you're going to put the GitHub of your mod. At the moment, we don't have a GitHub, so yeah, or we don't have a GitHub for this specific mod. For the license, we're going to change this later, but I'm going to go with the MIT license. I think it's like a pretty standard license that a lot of people use when they're making mods. My own Tensor mod is licensed under MIT. So to figure out what to do with your mod license in Google or whatever your search engine is, just type in whichever license you're choosing. Yeah, so there's a few licenses. You're surely welcome to do your research. But MIT is basically like from what I understand, it's like basically the most open source license that there can be. So in here, you want to click the choosealicense.com, and this is a really good spot to just take this and copy it, like just do Control C or Command C, and then you want to go in here in your files. There should be a license, and you should highlight all of this, do Control A or Command A, and Control V. And then in here for the year, obviously put the year you're making this in. And I'm going to put 2022 because that's the year at the moment. And my full name, you don't have to actually put your name, like for example, if we look at the Fabric mod license, Nemban just put his username, Nemban. So I'm just going to put my GitHub username, which is amplitude-mc. So yeah, that's basically the license idea. So let's get back to the fabric.mod.json. And in the icon, you want to put in the mod ID spot, put in your mod ID, like your actual mod ID. So in my case, it was something, like I chose it to be something. And then you might want to change what your icon is later, but for now, and in the assets, we're going to go to mod ID, refactor, rename, and then instead of mod ID, put something. And this sort of idea is going to continue, like wherever we see mod ID, we're just going to put our mod ID. So like for example here in modid.mixins.json, put your mod ID. Alright, main, we're going to change this later. Mixins, we just have to make sure to change this to our mod ID. And then this, just the version stuff, leave it as is. It should just be already what you need. Now we're going to focus on the mixins thing. So in here, we're just going to delete this because we're not going to start off with any mixins in our mod. I know there are some preset in here, but we're just going to delete all of that. And now we're going to focus on the Java folder. So we're going to take all this, right click, and scroll down to delete, and just delete all that. Now, if you have a website for this mod, so let's say for example it's website.com, then what you would do is you would right click, new package, and then you would do basically your URL reversed, com.website, and then dot the name of your mod, so like something, in this case it was something, and then yeah, you would just make this new package. In our case, we don't actually have a website, so all I'm gonna do is just do something, and this is our mod folder. Now let's right click on this, make a new class, and then this class should be just the same name as your fabric mods name, so let's just call it something, and it's gonna ask if you want to add it to Git. Yes, and I'm just gonna click don't ask again. So we're gonna have our something.java class. And also inside here, if you're planning on making more advanced mods, you might want to be using mixin, so make a new package that says mixin. And in here is where we're going to be putting our mixins. At the moment, we don't have anything. But yeah, so now let's, in here in fabric.mod.json, where it says entry points main, we're going to remove all this and replace it with everything here after Java. So basically something dot something. And yeah, so that's what our main class is. Now in the mixins thing, the JSON, you want to here for the package say something dot mixin. and this is going to be the package where all your mixin classes and stuff are going to be. And yeah, so you're going to have all your mixins, by the way, also going to go in here or in the client mixins. You can also have just server mixins, by the way. So yeah. But for now, we're actually done with the mixins.json and the fabric.mod.json and this. For the readme.md, by the way, just put whatever you want here, pretty much. Also make sure to put like your license, so this is licensed under the MIT license actually. So I'm just going to change that, but for now I'm just lazy, I'm not going to change anything else. So yeah. Alright, but for now we want to go to our something.java file, and then we want to say implements mod initializer. So now it's going to show the red thing, and that's because there's some methods that are abstract in here that we need to implement. So we need to implement the onInitialize, and in here at the moment we don't need to do anything. I'm just going to say, just make a println thing, something initializing, and yeah, so that's all I'm going to say for now in here. And yeah, alright, now that we essentially got our environment set up, so now we're ready for coding, let's actually do something. So let's close out of that, go to external libraries, go down here where it says Minecraft project at merge, whatever. Just open that up, go to net, and in here is all your Minecraft classes and stuff, etc. So we always want to be looking at this just to make sure we know if we're mixing in stuff, what we're actually doing. By the way, we can close all this out so we have more space to work with. And yeah, so I want to recreate my Minecraft mod thing. So the first step we want to ask ourselves is, where would it be? And by that I mean, where would the class be where there would be stuff that we have to modify? So in this case, it would be in some sort of GUI class. And yeah, so since this is in a GUI, it's probably going to be in some sort of client thing. And there it is, GUI, and it's probably in the screen sort of thing. And let's just scroll down here, and there it is, title screen. So this is probably where it is, but anyway, let's just go in here and see how stuff happens. So let's go back up here, go to mixin, make a new Java class, and let's call it title screen mixin for now. In my Tensor source code, you'll actually be able to see that I named these things slightly more strategically, so it's easier to find stuff, but for now we're just going to call it title screen mixin, so because we're mixing into the title screen class. And yeah, now this is where the fun begins and kind of also the hard part. So unfortunately, I do not have time to teach you every single thing about mixins and how to work with mixins all the way. You can find some of that information on the Fabric Wiki. I'll try to put a link in the description. But unfortunately, it's not all there either. The way you normally find out how to do stuff with modding is either like somehow figure it out yourself, and if you do that you're a genius, or look at other geniuses who already figured it out and look at their code and see how they do stuff and then see how can I use this for my project. But anyway, let's go into title screen and see where we actually using is minstraft, because this is not where it's setting the title screen minstraft thing, whatever. All we're doing is finding out if it is minstraft or not. Now we should try to find here somewhere where we're actually accessing that field, the is minstraft. And we should find it somewhere around here in render. Yes, there it is. If this dot is minstraft, blah 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 blah, etc., etc., it just does stuff, but this is the important part where it calls is minstraft. And what we have to do is somehow find a way to make this, instead of being minstraft, to make it be just true. So what we need to do is, in the title screen mixin, we need to make a method. Private boolean, boolean because we're setting it to true, or false. You could set it to false, whatever you want, but in this case we're going to set it to true. And I'm going to call it make minstraft. Now in the parameters, there's going to be a class that's this, an object of type title screen, and we're going to make this method. So we're going to make it return true because we want it to basically always be true. But this doesn't actually do anything by itself. What we need to do is make an annotation at redirect. And inside the redirect annotations, there's a couple things that we need to put. So first we need to put the method that whatever we're mixing in is going to go, if that makes sense. So basically we're going to try to change this, and this happens in the render method. The method is render Just make sure that's spelled correctly. And what I meant to say is make sure it's a string, obviously. And then also we want to make an at. At equals another annotation, at. And here, this is what happens. So we redirecting this call to isMinsRaft, not call like access or whatever, this get field to isMinsRaft. So this is a field, so we need to redirect a field, value equals field, all caps by the way, this is important, target equals, and then in here, this is kind of the hard part, we need to find a way to like point out this field isMinsRaft. And so this is sort of the format. We have to start with L, capital L, and then the name of this class, because isMinsRaft is right here, it's inside of our class here. So the name of the class, but we need to find the path to the class. So for that, you can see the package net.minecraft.client.gui.screen. And here we're going to do all that, except instead of the dots, we're going to put slashes. So net/minecraft/client/gui/screen. I'm pretty sure that's the thing. Yep. And then what we're going to do is /title screen, because it's actually inside of this class, and end that with a semicolon. Now, we're inside of this class. We didn't actually get to this field yet, that is isMinsRaft. So now what we do is we put the name of the field, isMinsRaft, and then we put the type of it, and the type we do not put Boolean. This we did not do. We put the type code, which for Boolean it's Z. And the list of descriptors for field descriptors you can find at the Fabric example wiki, or the Fabric wiki. And so for example, B is byte, C is char, D is double. These are kind of self-explanatory. J is a long for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why this is L either. So this, by the way, you can see how we referenced our class. We just said L, and then the path to the class, and then a class name, and then a semicolon. That was this little bit. And then Z is Boolean, again, no idea why. I think it's because B was already taken, but I don't know why specifically Z, but whatever. Alright, we're still not done though. We need to do another thing, opcode equals opcodes dot get field, and just make sure all that's imported, the opcodes, whatever. And yeah, and now we are done, sort of. We're not actually completely done yet. We have to go back up here to the top of the class and make another annotation at mixin, and then the name of the class that we're mixing into. So this should be title screen dot class, right? And this value is a type of class, so that's exactly what we need to put in there, just title screen dot class. And now we are done almost. We need to go to something.mixins.json. Sorry guys for all this stuff. And you can put this in a client thing because it's a client. Its title screen is in the client environment type. So we should put title screen mixin because that's the name of our class. So yeah, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you're making a pure client mod, what you should do is do implements client mod initializer, and instead of on initialize, you should put on initialize client. But if you're making a mod that modifies some sort of server-side mechanic, like for example the TPS or some mob behavior or something of that sort, then you want to do just mod initializer and on initialize. But in this case, we're just making a client-side mod. So yeah, we're just going to do client mod initializer. Now to actually test out if this works, you want to go to Gradle, Tasks, Fabric, and then Run Client. And then double click that, and it should start building all of this, basically, and initializing the client. Oh, oops, I forgot to mention that since this is a client mod, we need to change something in here. We need to make this client, and then this should work. So yeah, let's try this out again. All right, and it launched. Let me just turn off the music real quick. As you can see, it showed Minecraft, and this is not just a coincidence. That's because of the actual code we coded. I should hope at least. But yeah, just see it shows Minecraft, and that's basically the introduction to making mods in Minecraft using Fabric. So yeah, that's basically it. Now the only thing is if you want to actually build it, then like by build it I mean make a jar file so you can actually put this in your mods folder and run it with other mods. What you do is go to Gradle, open this up, tasks, build, and then click build. And this is going to build these things basically into a jar file. All right, and this built successfully. And again, this might take longer or shorter depending on your PC, etc. But if you're wondering where this actually built the stuff to, because it's not exactly obvious, you go to build, and then you go to libs, and then it should be the fabric example mod.jar. It shouldn't be the sources one, it should just be this. So the sources one just contains the source code for all your stuff, just kind of zipped up nicely. This one contains the actual executable code, and this basically, so just find this wherever you made your mod. Like I made mine in a folder on my desktop, but wherever you made your mod, basically just take this and plop it into your mods folder like you would normally. Alright, but yes, that's pretty much it for the basics of making mods. If you want me to show you how to do more like of the actual coding and stuff, make sure to leave a comment. Also, if you like this type of video, make sure to leave a comment and leave a like because that'll just let me know that this type of video was helpful for you and hopefully for other people too. But yeah, so now let me just talk about recently, the reason I haven't been uploading is actually a couple reasons. So one of them, I was busy with school and these things we have in America and possibly other parts of the world called AP exams, which they're pretty stressful, and like I'm taking AP chemistry, which from people who have taken many AP tests, I heard that's one of the hardest ones. Or, well, I already took it. I should sleep. But anyway, back to this. So I heard that AP Chemistry is one of the harder AP tests, so that's why I've been studying a lot for that. Also, I'm taking an AP test that I'm not even in a class for, so that's a lot of extra studying as well. Technically, if I'm going to be completely honest, not a lot. I didn't really study for that one. It was Comp Sci A, Computer Science A, which is basically just Java. It's straight up Java, and it was actually pretty easy, considering the amount of time I studied for it, which is almost nothing during the year, but recently I've been kind of studying a little bit because I was starting to get worried that like if I'm not actually in the class, I might have no idea what's going on. But no, it was pretty free. It was just knowing the computer science A topics and stuff, which is all 100% Java, which I loved. That was so amazing that it was on the language that I knew most. But yes, I just want to say if you like Java and if you've been coding in Java for a pretty long time and you consider yourself pretty experienced, and you live somewhere where you can get these AP exams, I highly recommend taking the Comp Sci A, even if you're not in the class, because it's just really a lot easier if you already know the language. But yeah, so AP exams, and you have to study for basically all of them. But yeah, I also recently, first, actually, I got a concussion. So I couldn't look at a screen for a very long time, or I wasn't supposed to look at like screens for a little while. So yeah, that was fun. If you're wondering, it was kind of stupid. I just fell off my bike. Well, I was going too fast without a helmet. So anyway, yeah, I just got a concussion from that. It's all good now, but yeah, that was the thing. I just couldn't look at computer screens, or at least I wasn't supposed to. And after that, I got sick. So yeah, that was extremely fun. Of course, yeah, I'm being sarcastic. It was not fun. Being sick is never fun. But anyway, I couldn't make videos then because no one would want to listen to like me talking while I'm sick. Just no one wants to listen to a sick person talk. Okay, but yeah, now I'm back. AP testing is sort of coming to an end. I have two more left so far, but uh, hopefully now I'll have more time to actually be making more content. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.